Good morning. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Today we are reading chapter 3 of Be a Perfect Person in Just 3 Days. And on Friday, let's review quickly, what did Dr. Pinkerton Silverfish need Milo to hang around his neck? Let's see if you can remember. Hopefully you remember broccoli necklace. So here we go. Let's see what Milo does. An almost perfect day, Milo thought as he looked out the window next morning. Milo himself, however, was a long way from perfection. As usual, he fought with his sister about who would use the bathroom first, and as usual, his sister won. Then Milo played his radio too loud, and his parents shouted for him to turn it down. At last, he was dressed. It was time to get serious. Milo stood in front of the mirror and picked up the broccoli. It looked rather tired and limp despite its night's rest. Milo put the string around his neck, and the broccoli dangled upside down in front of his chest. It was the dumbest-looking thing he'd ever seen, but he didn't dare laugh because this was a matter of the utmost importance. Then he realized he would have to eat breakfast and face his family with this green vegetable hanging from his neck. It was not going to be easy. He dawdled a little. So what would you do with your family? Think about how they would react to broccoli on your neck. "Milo," called his mother from downstairs. "You're late for breakfast." Milo looked in the mirror and fiddled with the broccoli. He tried sticking it under his shirt, but all that did was make him lumpy. His family would never overlook a lump that size in a million years. Better to leave the broccoli out where everybody could admire it. "Milo," his father shouted, "get down here." Milo went down the stairs and into the dining room. The minute his sister saw him, she laughed so hard she sprayed a mouthful of oat whammies all over the table. But his parents were too busy staring at Milo to scold her. "What," his mother asked in astonishment, "is that?" Milo tried to play dumb. "What do you mean?" "That thing hanging from around your neck," said his father. "Oh, that," said Milo calmly. "That's a stalk of broccoli." "Sure, Dad," said Elisa. "Lots of people walk around with stalks of broccoli hanging from their necks. That's how you can tell the morons from the rest of us." Milo made a face at her. She made a worse one back. "Would you mind telling me just what you think you're doing?" his mother inquired. "I'm wearing this broccoli around my neck." "Is this some kind of new fad or something?" asked his father. "What's a fad?" Think about that a second. So if you're not sure, a fad is like a trend or something that's popular just for a little bit. So maybe like, I think you're too young for silly bands, but fidget spinners, stuff like that comes and goes, that people really have to have for a minute, that is a fad. So his dad said, "Is this some sort of a fad?" "No," said Milo, trying hard to think of an explanation that would satisfy his parents. "We're doing a play in school about nutrition. I'm one of the vegetables." "Good thing you're not the watermelon," said his sister. "You wouldn't be able to stand up straight." "Do you have to wear this broccoli at the breakfast table?" Mrs. Crinkly asked. "Yes," Milo replied. "It helps me remember my lines." His mother gave a deep sigh. "Milo, that broccoli is for tonight's dinner. Be sure to put it back in the fridge when you get home from school." "I can't," said Milo, feeling sillier by the minute. "Why not?" Milo thought very hard. "Because I need to wear it tonight, too." "I thought you said the play was today." "No, today's only a rehearsal. The play is really tomorrow." A rehearsal is a practice, so it's your practice play. "If you ask me, I've got a broccoli brain for a brother," said Elisa. "All right, Milo," Mrs. Crinkly sighed. "By the time it finishes walking around with you all day, that broccoli won't be fit for human consumption anyhow. We'll use up the leftover rutabaga tonight." "Not rutabaga again," cried Elisa, sticking her tongue out in disgust. For once, Milo tended to agree with her. Well, nobody said being perfect was going to be easy, thought Milo, as he stepped out the front door. It was a beautiful spring day, much too warm to even think about wearing a jacket. There was no way to hide his broccoli, and of course it was the first thing everybody noticed on the way to school. "What's that for?" asked Milo's classmate George, making a face and pointing. "I've got a terrible disease," said Milo. "The only cure for it's to wear broccoli around your neck for a whole day. Then you throw the broccoli away and the disease is gone." "What's this disease called?" George asked suspiciously. It's a long name, said Milo. I can't remember. You're lying, Milo, said Janet. I've never heard of any disease like that. Me neither. George stepped in front of Milo and blocked his path. Give me that, he ordered, and grabbed for the broccoli, but Milo jumped aside. Usually Milo backed down when George bullied him, but this time he was totally unafraid. George grabbed again, but Milo kept leaping away, holding onto the broccoli for dear life. Finally, George got tired and gave up. He wasn't used to Milo's defending himself. Milo, that broccoli is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, Janet declared. Why? Milo asked. People wear all sorts of things around their necks. Why not broccoli? Why not cauliflower? George scoffed, making another futile grab at Milo's vegetable. Why not a ham and cheese sandwich? Because it's stupid. That's why. Look, nobody's making you wear anything, Milo shot back. If I have to wear this, it's my business. If you don't like it, leave me alone. George backed off, shaking his head. Well, at least I don't have to eat it. If there's one vegetable I hate, it's broccoli. The rest of Milo's day was rather embarrassing. He was the center of attention in every class. When his teachers asked him why he was wearing a stalk of broccoli around his neck, he told them it was doctor's orders, and yes, he had a horrible disease, and no, he didn't know what it was called, but it wasn't supposed to be contagious. The hardest part was Jim, because the broccoli kept flopping around while he did his exercises. The only other real problem was that the vegetable began to develop a rather pungent odor and started dropping little green flowers all over his shirt. Milo felt very proud of himself the rest of the day, and at dinner he tried to be as perfect as he could now that he was in training. He ignored his sister's snide remarks about broccoli wares. He politely asked people to pass the dishes instead of reaching for them himself, and he even said thank you when he got them. Thank you, echoed his mother. You know, Milo, I'm beginning to think that broccoli is having a strange effect on your brain. If it's going to make you behave like this, I think I'll make you wear it. Milo didn't say anything. He just smiled the most perfect smile he could and cut his rutabaga into tiny bite-sized pieces so that he could chew and digest it with absolute perfection. All right, so that sets us up for Chapter 4 tomorrow. We will find out. Probably my guess is that he might need to look in the book to see what he needs to do on day 2. So you can think about what you predict, and we will find out tomorrow. See you soon.